Hey everybody, welcome back. Another Gravity Ace dev stream. It's Saturday, October 23rd. It is 7 a.m. and we're going to do some shenanigans. Hey Slacks, how you doing, buddy? Welcome back, welcome back. Yeah, let's just get right into it. It's 7 a.m. and I overslept a little bit. I was having a wonky dream. I was lost, going up and down stairs. The stairs were blocked. You know, it's annoying. I came up with a name for the campaign, Orion's Sword. And for the second campaign, Rigel's Revenge. I'm going to use those until something better strikes me. But I like them. All right, let's add some decorations to this. Let's start with asteroids. So, I think we've got asteroid code in here. Yep. All right, let's copy all of this into here. Okay. There are errors, of course. Let's see. Let's do that. Okay, and then I need the asteroid. So I need these. All right. All right, and I don't need any of this. And I don't need any of this. I do need something like this, I think. Don't care about this. Don't care about doing this. I can do something simpler here. And this. I don't think I have a camera here. No, I don't. All right, this is fine. This is okay. So this is going to be match name. Don't need that. Don't need that. Don't need that. Don't need that. X, Y. Okay. Let's do that. No. Yes? Yeah. Alright, let's see how this looks. Let's see if it even works. Oh, and I need a timer. We need an asteroid timer. And timeout. Alright, here we go. Asteroids. Where are my asteroids? There are no asteroids. Shadow variable. I want to find it at line 11. Oh, interesting. What do I use that variable for? Oh, this is for the background. This is for the stars, the shader. Let's rename this guy. No asteroids. All right, let's see what's going on there with the asteroids. Actually, let's look at the remote tree. How about that? So if I look at the remote, there just are none. Oh, this timer probably hasn't started. Yeah. Asteroid timer, auto start. Let's try that. There we go. A little more transparent or less bright for the campaign screen. Yeah, I was thinking I need to put him in the background behind all this stuff. I think what I need is I need a, what do you call it? A like background area, because there's this. No, where is it? Is it this? Yeah, there's this background. So I need him to go behind this. So I want to put him here. I'm going to put him in here, I think. Because if I put an asteroid there, let's just put one there. Right? Now it's like behind everything. Yeah, and then it's like dimmer. But then when it flies out from behind it, you can see it brighten up again. So I'm going to put them all in here. So I'll call this the asteroid, or the background background objects, and I'm going to add them to that BG objects. Clicking on them destroys them. That would be fun too. Oh my god, that would be fun. Alright, let's do that. Well, let me test the... I need to test a couple of things first. One, I need to test if the ice ones appear here. Ice asteroids, go. I need the timer. I need... oh, rats, yeah. Ooh, this is kind of a pain. These scenes are like identical, but kind of just, I don't like having to copy so much. Still known. Asteroids. Auto start on. Timer on. Here it is. Only one. There's 2, 3. I guess I'm just getting unlucky with RNG. One. Here we go. All right, the other thing I need to check, I'm going to come back to that. The other thing I need to check is to make sure that the number of asteroids decreases. So let's run this and then just flip back here and look at the remote. And I should see in here like up to 20 of these. But the important thing is that as they go off the screen, they should disappear. So there are 20 of them right now, but they're just off the screen. They're just invisible somewhere else. Yeah, so that's the problem. That's why I'm getting lucky sometimes and other times not. They're just not disappearing. Let me look at this guy, because this one seemed to be working better. This one seems to be working better. Don't know why that would be. Yeah, you see them? They're like, these older ones should disappear as they go off the screen. And they are. And then we get new ones. There's some turnover. heck is this guy? Oh, he's gone finally. Okay, he must have been a slow mover. Right, adds more, adds more, adds more. But also some of these disappear, some of these disappear. Yeah, exactly what I'd expect. All right, that's working. And then these should do exactly the same thing. Got ice asteroids everywhere. None of them are on the screen right now, and none of them are disappearing. All right, there's something wonky and weird about the ice asteroids. Let's see. They're identical. I think they use the same script too. Asteroid and asteroid. If not on screen, die. So this doesn't seem to be happening. Is this visibility notifier? Does it need to be turned on or something? No. Death timer? Auto start, 1 second. No. Hurt timer 4 1 shot auto start. Hurt timer 4 1 start. 1 shot auto start. It's fine. Asteroid, rigid, ice. Right, they're identical. Same collision layers. Same contact monitor. Why are they acting a little different? Do I need this? I don't think I need this. All right, let's just run this again and see what's going on. I think the signals are connected. Oh, hey, Deep Entertains, welcome. Thanks, looking good with the asteroids, thank you. This one seems to be working fine. And then I go in here. This one should be just as full. But when these guys go off the screen, what happens? See, there's no more appearing. All those ones that are off the screen should have died and repopulated with new ones. But they're not. They're not dying when they go off the screen. Let's look at one. There must be something different. This guy, our oldest ice asteroid. Why isn't he disappearing? He's got a visibility notifier. He's got a position somewhere way far away, probably. Yeah, he's still moving. He's just trucking away. Really far off the screen right now. So far away. He's like way down there in the corner somewhere. Is his death timer? It's auto start. Oh, this isn't hooked up. You're right, this signal's not connected. And this one. Okay. I think I know why that was happening. It's because I copied these over from here. From the other asteroid. Yeah, these are connected. I copied these over from the old asteroid to the new asteroid, and it didn't copy the signals? I don't know. Slacks was correct. What would I do without you? Alright. Show me some asteroids. There we go. That's better. Alright. Right? Because, yeah. Playing through the normal campaign, the first campaign, Orion's Sword. People are going to be used to seeing these rocky asteroids. This is just one decoration we're adding. We're going to add a lot more. But they're going to be used to seeing this screen, all these rocky asteroids. And then they'll get to campaign 2. And, you know, hopefully notice right away, ooh, something's different. These asteroids look super dope and shiny. By the way, how's the mic sound today? Because I discovered this morning that I had the mic pointed the wrong way. And this is a condenser microphone. It's very sensitive to its direction. And I just had it pointed the wrong way for like the last 2 weeks, I think. I should sound clearer than I did. And the reason that happened is because I have a little blue light on here that shows you which direction it's pointed. But I have it taped over. I have it taped over because I didn't like looking at it. You played yourself. Yeah, that looks good. So then over here in the remote, we should see these things disappearing. They are. Like, the list gets bigger because new ones get added. The list gets shorter because old ones disappear. Every second has the potential for something to be added or taken away. All right, this is perfect. It's working fine. All right, so then, if you click on one, So these are rigid bodies. And I think that means I can say pickable, which means they'll detect mouse events. And then I can do input event with a collision object, which is cool. I didn't know you could do this when I was building my level editor. Now I know. And now I can say if event is input event mouse button, Then die. Because I think die does... No, it doesn't do an explosion. Let's do hurt. How many hit points do these guys have? None. Alright. Yeah, let's just do hurt. And then we'll do the same thing here in the ice asteroid. We'll make him pickable. And mouse input event. And ooh, interesting. Don't want to do that. Because they're sharing the same script. Oh god, this is such... Let's disconnect that. Connect to the same event. I should have just called him Asteroid, but whatever. Alright, let's see if this works. I don't actually know if it will because this background layer, yeah, see, it's like trapped behind the background, I think. Oh, that's not working either. Bop, 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 bop. Is it not even getting the event? It must not be. These aren't hooked up now? There it is, asteroid. Should be getting a warning because I'm not using viewport, I'm not using shape index. Save, those warnings should go away. Does this not do what I think it does? The heck? Pickable. If true, this object is pickable. A pickable object can detect the mouse pointer entering, leaving, and if the mouse is inside it, report input events. Requires at least one collision layer bit to be set. Well, I have one collision layer bit set. And the mouse pointer is inside of it, and I was clicking on it while it was inside of it. And the signal is set here. And, oh, let's look at hurt. It just explodes it instantly. Explodes it, shakes the screen, it's dead. Let's do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to say one asteroid, and I'm going to run it, and then, yeah, and then I should have one asteroid in here at some point, someday. Do I get one? There it is. Not clicking. Nothing's happening when I click. How come I see an asteroid on the screen but it's not in here? Now it's gone. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong one. There it is. I need to look at the remote. Now it's gone. Give me another one. Gone. Come on. These ones aren't spawning on the screen, so they don't live very long. Oh man, debugging games is a pain in the neck. What am I even trying to do right now anyway? I'm trying to figure out why this signal doesn't work. Let's look at the bug list. How about that? Godot issues. Collision pickable. Mouse input event is not processed for a collision shape inside another collision shape. That's interesting. Unexpected weird behavior of rigid 3D with mouse, only closed on August 9th. That's interesting. That's an old one. Input event signal never fires, old one. All right, let's read these. Let's do some research. Mouse click is not processed for a collision shape inside another collision shape. I don't think that's my situation. I have a collision shape, period. There is no other collision shape. Ray pickable. This is 3.4. Ray pickable must be a 3D thing. Is this confirmed? It's confirmed in 332. What is ray pickable? That must be a 3D thing. .3 stable. Making it brick breaker. Inside the palette you manage cannon, collision polygon shape. Hitting the ball without the collision shape. Hit the ball with the mouse. Don't ask me how. This guy is just doing it wrong. Alright, he's just doing it wrong. This one's an old one. And I do have a canvas layer. If the controls overlay the collision object, they block input. If they block input when not over the collision object, it's a bug. Okay, okay. So here I have a viewport. I wonder... I mean, it's way over... Oops. It's way over here is where the viewport is. It's weird that it switched to that. Oh, I guess that makes sense. It's the 3D view, 2D view. By the way, this is how this scanner works. Right? This rock rotates in the scanner in the long-range scan, and it's a 3D object. And then there's a 2D viewport where it projects this with a shader. So there's the camera. So it's looking at it like this. Like that through the camera. And then it puts it here. But this might be blocking things. Let's just move this. I don't have any other stuff. Let's just put this in here, say. And then run it and see if I can touch those things. Still nothing. All right, let's try printing. try printing the event. See if we're getting anything there. Nothing, 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 nothing. Right? The input events aren't even happening. And this is the asteroid. It is definitely connected. It's right there. Print event. Pickable is on. Let me be more specific about my search here. Input pickable. One open issue. Are these static bodies? No, they're rigid bodies. An extended node does not fire inherited signals, and the signals cannot be disconnected, and connecting that signal to shout doesn't fire either. Okay. I mean, every node is extended from something. Can't reproduce. I wonder. What's a randomly get? Input event and static byte doesn't work. Area 2D input events work. I think it's my bad. There's a note about input pickable property and signals, but this is not mentioned in input event, so I didn't set the property. After setting, everything works. I wonder if input pickable needs a camera. If true, this object is pickable. A pickable object can detect the mouse pointer entering, leaving, and if the mouse is inside it, report input events. Requires at least one collision layer bit to be set. Input event accepts unhandled input events. Requires input pickable to be true. Unhandled input events. Requires input pickable to be true. Am I handling all of the input events, I wonder? In here? If the warning dialog is visible and I click, it handles it. If the launcher is not visible and I press cancel, it accepts the event. If I press the X button, it'll handle the input event. Let's try just removing this and seeing if it works now. No. Does not seem to be. Nothing in the output. Let's do this. What if it's because the pointer is hidden? Where do I do that? Here we go. Let's do that. What if I do that? All right, there's my pointer. Nothing, nothing, nothing. No printout. All right, it's not that. This is really confusing me. I don't know what's going on. You ever get that feeling like you're dumb? Like you're just missing something and you're dumb. That might be one of the hardest barriers to becoming a programmer, is that I think programmers kind of have this feeling all the time. Not all the time, but a lot of the time, especially when you're doing something you haven't done and you're just trying to figure out why it's not working. I think that feeling of being lost and not knowing what to do, and the frustration and just feeling dumb, turns a lot of people off of programming. They don't like it. They don't want to do that. Which I get it. Requires at least one collision layer bit to be set. Hey, Lincius. Yeah. Yeah. Like, you have to come at it with that mindset, right? Like, it's a challenge and I'm going to overcome it. But I think a lot of people, they run into a problem like that and they're like, this is making me feel stupid. I feel bad. A challenge maybe that they don't care about. I don't know. It's tough. I mean, they say, let's train everybody to be coders. And I think that's a cool idea, but we don't need that many coders. So even if you did train everybody to be a coder, a lot of them would be out of work anyway because it just aren't we don't need that many. And then B, a lot of people just don't want to be a coder. They don't like it. So at best, they'll be bad coders. And then C, not everybody's cut out for it. And I don't mean that like as an insult. It's just, programming isn't typing stuff into a computer. Programming is thinking straight. And some people can't do that. It's fine. I can't bake a beautiful cake. Maybe that's a bad example. I probably could if I practiced it. But I don't want to. It's not a priority for me. I don't think I want to live my life as a baker. So training everybody as a baker would be a bad idea too. Not everybody's cut out for it. Why isn't this working? Feel dumb because you can't fix it, and then feel even dumber because you did fix it, and it was so easy. Yep, that's exactly right. I mean, the number of times I've gone, oh, is that all it was? Oh my God. That is totally true. Why isn't this working? Let's try let's try something else. Let's try a rigid body 2D. Let's just create a little test scene. Minimal test scene here. And let's see, we need a collision object. And or collision shape rather. And we need, let's make it big. And then of course we need a little sprite. Put you right there. And we'll save you. And we'll make you pickable. And we'll create an event. Let's put a script on you. Let's just make it internal, so I don't create any unnecessary files. And then input event, connect, print, viewport, event, shape, index. Let's see if this works. Whoa, gravity. All right, it works. It's all right. There's the mouse motion when I move the mouse in, and then there's my last clicks before it fell off the screen. Let's turn off gravity. And move you to the center. Right, there they are. It totally works. And if I turn off pickable, it stops working. Turn it on. There it is. All right, something is blocking the input events. So I've got an asteroid. It's got a collision layer, or a collision shape. It's got a collision layer. It's pickable. There is a event, input event. It is connected. Print. There's no other input handling in Asteroid. There is input event handling here. Let me print this event. Because I wonder if this event is kind of handling, move these two back, is handling the event for the asteroids. Right, it's getting all the mouse motion, mouse button, right? It's getting those events. So something, this guy's handling an event. I don't have any signals connected. But I commented this out. And it still didn't work. Right? It's still not working. So I don't necessarily think it's this. I wonder if it's this not passing the mouse. It could be that. Because it's inside this one, and this thing's filter says stop. What if I did that? Let's turn off this. Well, let's comment this too. Let's do multiple things. And then we won't know which one it was. All right. Not getting any printouts from the asteroids. So I don't think it's this. That's pass. Does this have a size? It does. It has a size, so it's only going to be like over here. Does it have a position as well? Viewport. Rendering. How does this work? This renders to a viewport, and then I use this texture rec to, to use that viewport. That's fine. So this is like not a real object, and this is showing that viewport. This has pass, and this has stop. But it's just there, and that's just there, there, and there. Button, button, tween, launcher is hidden. Oh, maybe it's this launcher, because it's covering the whole screen, but it's invisible. Mouse is stop. Let's do that pass. No, nothing. It's not that. It's not that. It's not that. Man, I would just start ripping some of this stuff out, but you know what? Let's go back here. I know what we'll do. Let's do a different test. So let's do this. Copy. Can't do that. How about user interface, and then copy to here. And you are going to be, right, auto start, you're there. What are you connected to? It's weird because there's no script here. Built-in, timeout, connect, and I need you. And I need you. Do I get asteroids? No. Let's change this to a node. Change it to a node 2D. Don't have to do that, but and nothing. Is this not connected anymore? can't set index position on base nil. A is nil. Because this is not true. Alright. Asteroids. Look, now it's working. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. Let's start adding in some of the stuff from here and see when it breaks. Although I do wonder, maybe it's just because this thing is a control. Let's try that first. Let's change this back to a control. Okay. Change this back to control. And see if it still works. Why isn't this working? I changed it to control and now it's not working. Hey, Leonard. Tween remove all. Yeah. Hey, good morning, Leonard. Hope you're doing well, too. I'm not doing well. I'm losing my mind. Every time I try and figure out why I can click on these asteroids and I try something different, then it stops working. And, yeah, just a little frustrated right now. Just a little frustrated. Did this disconnect again? Why does that keep... It must keep disconnecting when I change the node type. Which is weird, but whatever. Nope. Okay, so it's not because it's in a control. That's going to be fun once I get this working. Let's put you here. And let's copy in just all of you guys. Why not? Run. Alright, now it's not working. Alright, so it's one of these things. Let's delete the viewport. Okay, let's delete this. Okay. Let's delete this. It was that. Okay. So it's this thing. Why would it be this thing? Because the texture, well, where is it first of all? Anchor, left top, margin. All right, so it covers the whole screen, and there's like a transparency around the edge. But the filter on the mouse says pass. Input, pass on modal click. Size flags, focus, hint. Let's just delete it and see if it works. It still doesn't work. It still doesn't work. There's more than one thing. Let's copy all of these. Copy. Paste. It works. Doesn't work behind the sector map. Why is this offset all weird? Let's bring in that background again. Okay, not working at all, not working at all. Not working at all. Delete BG. Right, it's not working under here, not working under here. So it's just not working under these controls. And I have controls all over the screen. It's not working on any of them. It's not working under these controls, even though the mouse says, well, now this mouse says stop. But this one also says stop. I thought this was pass a minute ago. This one says pass. This only affects GUI input, maybe? Controls whether this control will be able to receive mouse button events through a GUI input and how these events will be handled. Pass accepts the event. I missed the asteroids are using the unhandled input. They're not using unhandled input. They're using input. Well, or rather, they're using this input event, right? Because they're rigid bodies and they're pickable, which says it can detect the mouse pointer and report input events, and it has a signal input event emitted when an input event occurs. But it must be an unhandled input event, right? Or one that's been being bubbled to it. And these are somehow blocking the input events to those objects. Which I guess it makes sense because these are all stop. But this one, for example, is pass. And then there's nothing like this BG one was also pass. Wasn't it? Yeah, this one was pass. So you should be able to click around the edges. But it's not working. I've looked at this many times. Many, many times. But let's look at it again. Because, yeah. It's always been useful to look at it. So first inputs are handled. Which is what happens here, right? This doesn't have GUI input. This diagram doesn't have GUI input on it, which is kind of annoying. All right, so first, the standard node input function will be called in that node, and any node that overrides it, if any function consumes the event, it can call set scene tree, set input as handled, and the event will not spread anymore. This ensures you can filter all events of interest, even before the GUI for gameplay input. But if you don't call set input as handled, it should spread, right? And then next, it tries to feed the input to the GUI. And if any control can receive it, the control will be called via the function GUI input, and the signal GUI input will be emitted. And then if the control wants to consume the event, it will call accept input, and the event will not spread anymore. But if it doesn't call accept event, it should spread. Right? Notified events via control GUI and whether those events are propagated further. And then if neither of those gets it, then it calls unhandled input. And if you don't call this, then it will spread. And then, oh, a camera is assigned to the viewport with object picking turned on. If no one wanted the event and a camera is assigned to the viewport with object picking turned on, a ray to the physics world will be cast. If the ray hits an object, then the input event function will be called. But that's not quite true, maybe, because this works, and there's no camera here. There's like an implicit camera because there's a root viewport, which is like a camera. And that root viewport must have object picking on. The default is false. The root node mouse filter is set to pass. I wonder if I just add a camera. I mean, I'm not even seeing object picking. That must be a 3D thing. I don't see object picking here either. Did I read that right? If a camera is assigned to the viewport with object picking turned on, to the viewport with object picking turned on. To the viewport is if a camera is assigned to the viewport with object picking turned on. This is an ambiguous sentence. Does it mean that the object picking is on the viewport or on the camera? And when you click the documentation, it's on the viewport, not the camera. I mean, cameras are viewports though, right? Going down a rabbit hole. Going down a rabbit hole. Physics input events are handled last. Yep. Control input event is their bad label for the GUI input event. Okay. Pass bubbles up. Try ignore, maybe. Yeah. We could try that. The thing is, it works here. Here, I have mouse stop, right? And if I run this test scene, that works, right? It just doesn't work under here, but it works here. So it's not this root nodes filter. And if I change, let's see, if I change sector 2 to pass, run it. No, sector 1. So sector 2, nothing. Oh, eyes are watering. Now there's no asteroids in sector 1. Here we go. You're going to go to sector 1. Sector 1 is pass, but it's not doing anything. All right. Let's change sector 1 to ignore and run it. Again, no asteroids in the sector I want. Sector 2, ignore. And run it. Ignore. Ignore. Okay. Yeah, see, it's getting those mouse events there. Okay, let's try this. Let's change this guy. Let's change him to ignore. And let's change all the sectors to ignore. Sector 2, ignore. Sector 3, ignore. Sector 4, ignore. We can change this texture rect, this guy, to ignore. And we can change, what is this? Where is this? Stats, we can change U to ignore. We can change U to ignore. Already done. Let's run it now. Can we click on some asteroids? Nope. Let's change this guy to ignore. There we go. And I can still click on my things. And I can still click in here. All right. That's fun. I love it. It took forever. So here, I want to make this mouse ignore. And let's see. You will be ignore, and you will be ignore, and you will be ignore, and what else? You will be ignore, and 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 you will be ignore. And now it'll work here too. Unless it doesn't. Unless it doesn't work. For reasons. For reasons. What am I forgetting? The background. Okay. Bam. Bam. Should change these labels to be ignore. Stats is ignore, but the labels that it creates in there are not. What is stats? Oh, it's a whole subscene. Let's open that guy. Tabs. Tab. Mouse. Tab. Yeah, I can change this to ignore. And then you, I don't want to ignore. The tabs, I can ignore. And the content in those tabs, I can ignore. And that I can ignore it. I wonder if I have to ignore it all the way down the tree. I'm just going to do it. I think I'm going to remove this section anyway. I don't know. Maybe I won't. Doink. Doink. Here we go. Bam. I can still click you. Bam. Blam. Waiting for an asteroid to come in here. Let's do this. This will make it easier. Bam. Bam. All right, and let's go to the icy one. All right, that works. It works finally, and it's kind of fun. All right, let's get rid of, let's close you. Let's delete you. Don't need you anymore. Delete. Get rid of you. Go away. Let's see if I screwed anything else up. So let's go into Git. Hey, Avi. Those explosions are juicy. Thank you, the Clin. Yep, the language is GD script. But you can use just about any language you want, yeah. Yeah, I mean, there are people using Rust for programming games. I'm not sure why, but people like what they like. It's fine. So the changes here and here should be close to identical. Asteroid timer, mouse filter, blah, blah, blah. Mouse filter, yep. Asteroid timer, mouse filter, mouse filter, mouse filter. Timeout. Yep, added the asteroids. Oh, I gotta undo this. Let's see if it still works before I commit. And then asteroids, and then you're just a bunch of mouse filters. All right, this is all good. Let's run it one more time. Oops, let's run the right thing. Yep, and then these still work. Gamepad controls. Yep. All right. All good. Time to commit. Added asteroids that you can click on and explode. Asteroids to the level chooser screens that you can click on and explode. Slacks, thank you very much. That was a great idea. That was a great idea that caused me a ton of headaches. I appreciate it. All right. All right. Go back to the to-do list here. Icy details, icy details. Let's do something like that. Let's see. How am I going to do that? What would look good? So if I'm looking at this screen, right? Turn that off. I think maybe kind of like the game over screen, if it had just some terrain down here at the bottom, might be cool. Or maybe around the edge. I mean, let's try it. Let's see how it looks. Let's do wall. Nope. walls. Excuse me. Okay. And does this need to be... Yeah. Okay. So I don't actually need a lot of this stuff. I don't need any of that. Actually, let's do this. I don't think I need any of this. I just need this. I can delete all of this. And I'm going to change the texture to this. All right. And then let's just move you here and up here. And then we can just move some stuff around, right? Something like that, and like that. Yeah. And then in here, what is going on? How can I not add points to this guy? Oh, do I have to be in modify? Yeah, I do. Okay, so I have to be in modify mode. Edit points, not add points. Edit points. All right, so here, I could do that, something like this. I shouldn't be that detailed right now. I just want to get a feel for it. That's not bad. Could be interesting. Although, I don't know, it doesn't really kind of fit the theme a little bit. This is supposed to be like, you're looking at a screen, right? And you're looking at this screen at a long-range view of the sector, right? It's like a map, and it's like a transparent screen or something. You can see the outside of the ship through it. So why would you see this blue stuff? But also, who cares? It's a video game. Who cares, right? And actually, I kind of like the shape. Let's copy that over to here and change its texture to red. See, now it's a little weird because like the asteroids are flying over it. So, I mean, it does change the overall feel of the whole thing. Hey, Pax. Thanks for the follow. Ooh, little people flying around. That can be cute, too. That could be cute, indeed. Maybe. Add little astronauts floating around. You know what? I think this deserves actually some dedicated art here. So I'm going to delete this. I don't think I want it. It's just so many things about it are just a little wonky. Yeah. And here too, right? And instead, I'll just have two different versions of this texture. So that texture, let's see. Oh, it's not in walls, it's in level chooser, textures. What's it called? UI panels. Okay. Okay, so this actually works well. So I can have a UI panels red and a UI panels blue. And in I don't like these names. Let's call it UI panels S1 and UI panels S2. Because who knows what color they'll actually be, right? One day? Who knows? And actually, let's call this, oh man, let's call this VGS2, and this will be VGS1, because now I'm thinking let's have two different layers here. All right, let's clean up this file tree. I'm going to delete you. And discard. And discard. How come I have to do you twice? Discard. Discard. All right, so this will be, let's duplicate this. Call this UI panels. And do the same thing here. Call it UI panels. And then do like that. Do like that. All right, and then this is going to be not walls, but level chooser textures. This is going to be Can I do... Wait a minute. I want this to be that. And then I want this to be that. All right. All right, we're getting there. And then I can just delete that, save, delete that, save, and then let's put a big red X right through that. We can do better than that. And we'll put a big ol' pink X through this one. So S1 is pink, S2 is red. There we go. And this is ignore, and this is ignore, and this is what the heck? Ignore, and this is ignore. All right. But of course, now that I'm thinking of it, do I want the layers? Yeah, I do want the layers. All right. But maybe I also want the UI panels to be special, but we'll see. Right. So let's look at, yeah, this one. Let's do this guy first. And I think maybe what we'll do is we'll start out with like let's go into the editor, and then I can do some kind of drawing. Something like that. I need a screenshot mode on this. Because I'd like to just capture all of this, but without the grid and without the fireflies here, without this, without the toolbar, without any of the UI, I'd like to capture just a screenshot of this background. Let's build that. Let's build a little screenshotting tool for the level editor. Good Lord. Sometimes game development makes me a little upset. Let's start with the input. I want to add a new action called level editor screenshot. And I want to connect that to Shift S. I can change it later. No big deal. That's why I want to start with the action so I'm not hard coding to this Shift S. Level editor screenshot. Into the editor. Input. If. Let's put it at the bottom. Is input really this freaking large? Wow, okay. Let's not put it at the bottom. No, there it is. Draw. Update. Process. Where the heck did input go? It's unhandled input. Okay. We're all good. Do I not have an input? Really? Interesting. Okay. I could have swore, if you'd asked me, I could have swore I had an input method in here in the editor. All right. Apparently not. Let's do this. And maybe this is bad, but it doesn't matter. This is just the draft. If input is action just pressed. Give me a code complete. You're not gonna. I'm typing it wrong. Level. Why do you do that? Okay. That's a bug, right? I start typing and it finds it and then it disappears. But if you do a quote, then it works. I don't know. That seems a little buggy. All right. So if I take a level editor screenshot, do a thing, and the thing it should do is $controls.hide. And I think all the UI stuff is in there. Then it does screenshot. Then UI controls.show. Something like that. Nanoblit. Does using not strongly typed language slow down deving a lot? You know, there's a lot of, I don't know how old you are, but there's a lot of debate amongst programmers in general about whether something should be strongly typed or loosely typed. And I mean, look, I've got gray in my beard. And from my perspective, it doesn't fucking matter. You know, like, I get it. Like, some people, maybe especially when you're young, I think people are always looking for the right way to do something, right? People are scouring the internet. What's the correct way? What's the right way to do this? Object-oriented versus whatever. Typed versus non-typed. X language versus Y language. And it doesn't matter. The thing is, there's just trade-offs. Loosely typing actually speeds up development quite a lot in the initial phases, and then later it can, not necessarily, but it can cause slowdowns later as your project gets more complex. But to get a typed language, you typically need some kind of compiler. And as your project gets more complex, now your compile times start increasing. I mean, just look at this. I hit F6, F5 to run the game. 1, 2, 3. It's running. If this was compiled, I might be sitting here waiting, twiddling my thumbs for a minute every single time I wanted to test the game. And how much time is that costing me? I don't know. And if you're, like, you can take any language, whether it's typed or not, and write just the shittiest code in it, and you're going to have a bad time no matter what. But then there's also preference, right? There's comfort. And some people just like having strict types and knowing what everything is. They like it better. And if that's you, then great. Go do it that way, man. There's no right way, is my point. I don't think there's a right way to do anything. And that's why these arguments never come to a resolution that you see on the internet about typed or not typed, or tabs versus spaces or whatever. It's just preference. There's no right answer in every situation. And so nobody can come to a conclusion. And so the argument goes on forever. You just have to find what works for you. So I recommend stop reading the internet and try it. And if you like it, then do that. And if you don't like it, switch and do something else. Because everybody's game is different. Everybody's situation is different. Everybody's preferences are different. And the only way to find out what's right for you is to try them and see what works best for you. And it doesn't matter what anybody else says. Yeah, I mean, Facebook was originally built on PHP, right? Slack was built on PHP, loosely typed languages. And they seem to be doing fine. Tons of the internet, arguably the entire internet, is built on JavaScript, a loosely typed language. And that doesn't seem to be slowing anybody down. So, I don't, well, not everything. I bet even, I bet TypeScript is still a kind of a niche thing. Most people don't use TypeScript. But I don't know. I don't have any numbers. All I know is use what you like, and it's fine. And if you don't like using loosely typed languages like this, like my friend Max does not, he did not find it comfortable at all, then don't. That's fine. And with Godot, you have your choice. You can use C++ if you want to. You can use C# if you want to. You can use Rust if you want to. You can use GDScript if you want to. You can use JavaScript if you want to. Use what you like. Do what you want to do. You do you, man. And there's no wrong answer. All right, how do I take a screenshot? I know I've done this before. I don't remember any of the code. I think we had a couple people just follow. Pet Rocket, thank you for the follow. Hybrid Lizard, thank you for the follow. Sync Stuff, thank you for the follow. Nanoblit, thank you for the follow. Pax, thank you for the follow. Wow. You guys are awesome. Thank you very much, guys. Oh man, don't even get me started on job descriptions. They just throw in the kitchen sink. Everybody wants somebody who knows everything. There's probably job ads out there that are asking for people with more TypeScript experience that's longer than TypeScript has existed. Golang programmers, 20 years of experience only. But it's only existed for a few years. All right. Screenshot is not a thing. Screenshot. Let me Google it. Google. I don't need to type Google. Godot screenshot. Let me Google for Google and then how to do screenshots. Oh yeah, this looks familiar. Let's do that. Do I have this anywhere in the game already? I wonder if I have a screenshot function. I don't. Oh, I do? Do I? I do? Oh, I already have this. Okay. Perfect. So I can just call game.screenshot. Past me did something I like. So I'm just hiding the controls, taking the screenshot, showing the controls again. Let's see if it works, kids. Gonna run the whole game. Oh no, did I just blow? I did. I think I just blew away that level without saving it. And what was it? Shift S? And that should have shown up in a screenshots folder. And it shouldn't have any of the controls. It does still. I wonder if I have to do a yield and wait a frame. No. Is this not doing what I was hoping? Yeah. Hides the whole UI. I don't know. Yeah, gotta wait a couple of frames. Maybe I can do a call deferred here. Game.call deferred screenshot. And then game.call deferred call deferred show. Let's see if that works. Call deferred calls that method on the object, but it waits till the end of the frame to do it. It doesn't work. I'm going to read the chat. Somebody asked a question. Any books on debugging that you recommend? Sync stuff. Any books on debugging that you recommend? No, I haven't ever read a book on debugging, and when I went to school for programming, they never taught it. Actually, well, I'll take that back. I think in my very first programming class, they did teach us a unit. It was like a week on how to track the state of a program and step through it line by line and then write down the state and kind of how to think through your loops. But that was it. And then I never had another debugging class, which is a shame. I don't know if they do that still in school, but I think probably being a good debugger is probably a better skill than being a good programmer. Just knowing how to narrow down the problem is a big part of the thing. Yeah, not really. I don't know any good books on debugging. It's a super important skill, though. It really is. Because if you have a problem, if your game is doing something odd, right? The first thing you need to do is figure out why it's doing that. And until you know why, you can't really fix it. You might get lucky and fix it by accident, but you really won't know for certain if you fixed it for good or if you fixed it at all. Maybe it's just you got lucky and it's not showing up anymore. So unless you really understand why it happens, you can't fix it for real. And to understand why it happens, well, once you can you need to be able to reproduce the problem reliably. So you need to be able to reproduce it so you can figure out why and where it happens. Once you know what's going on, you can kind of isolate it to where it's happening and then find the code that's actually causing the problem and then fix it, right? Those are the steps. It sounds pretty simple, but reproducing the bug reliably, understanding why it happened, that's the important part. And to do that, I mean, Godot gives you a bunch of cool tools. So if you have some idea of like, oh, it's something with the click, right? You can do this, put a breakpoint. And not enough people do this. There's a lot of people do this, right? Print event or whatever, or print, here I am, just to see if the code is running into that segment. And that's great. You can do that. And actually, I do both, right? I'll do breakpoints and I'll do prints because they each have their uses and they're fine. Sometimes I just want to see and leave the code running. The problem with the breakpoint is it stops the execution, but this doesn't. And you can just see it in the output panel if it happened or not, and it's very useful. But in other cases, it's more useful just to go bap and then click, and then it stops. It stops the game. And now you can actually just step through. And the great thing about using a debugger like this, and it's not hard, I don't think you need a book or anything on it. The great thing about using a debugger like this is it gives you the entire local state of the game. So this goes back to like when I was taught debugging in that 1 week. They're like, step through the game, write down all the variables. As you go through each line, update the variables, blah, blah, blah. This is exactly that, but it does it for you. So it shows you all the variables, and you can actually step through it line by line. And you can see, here I am on this if statement, and look, it skipped over it. That means none of these conditions are true, right? And that's a clue. If you expected it to go in here, but it didn't, now you know the problem is with one of these variables, right? And then you can stop the execution and try it again. You can look at what these variables are and just kind of narrow down the problem until you find the few lines of code usually. Sometimes it's a big hairy refactor or some logic thing that you need to fix, which is more of a problem. But sometimes you'll find it's just, oh, I didn't set a variable right. And this shows it to you very quickly because you can see the state of all the variables and you can see if this one should be true, but it's false. And then you can work backwards from there and go, well, why isn't it the right value? Why isn't it the value that I think it is? I don't know. It's like all things. You get better at it as you do practice. I've never been a big fan of learning by watching. I've been more of a fan of learning by doing. Most jobs, but they're not built on TypeScript. Oh, yeah. Senior talent is rare. Looking for full stack everything. Yep. Screen texture node, never mind. Yep, we found it. Wait a frame to render. Yep, maybe 2 frames. Just don't write bugs. That's good advice. The best way to program is to stop doing it wrong and start doing it right. Just do it that way. Do it right. Your brother made a good point about typing. JavaScript is TypeScript and C++ gets auto, right? Yeah. So that's more evidence, right? That there's no one right way, and each one has its advantages and disadvantages, and use whichever one you like. Refactoring book might help. I mean, maybe. Refactoring gets this big fancy word, refactoring. It sounds so fancy, but it's really just renaming stuff so it makes more sense. You're going to write some programs. I'm doing it right now, right? Where I had screenshot, right? If I renamed this to something else, that's refactoring, okay? If I say, you know what, let's take all this and turn it into a method call, clean screenshot, func clean screenshot, right? That's refactoring. If I had this code like copied all over the place and I was using it many places, and now I can just replace it all with clean screenshot, that's refactoring. Renaming a variable, that's refactoring. Breaking up one gigantic file into 2 or 3 different smaller libraries, that's refactoring. It's not complicated. It's just reorganizing things and renaming things so that it makes more sense in your head. So it's easier to read, easier to understand. It's not so much usually about performance or anything like that. It could be. Like changing things around so that they run faster often requires some refactoring. But they're not quite the same thing. I don't know. It doesn't seem like that big of a deal, like that big of a concept to me. But again, don't listen to everything I say, because I've been programming for 40 years almost, since I was young. Good Lord. I've been programming a long time. And so I have a lot of experience built into my head, and sometimes I just assume, well, everybody knows that. But I know that's not true. So when I say something's easy, maybe it's not, If I say something's simple to understand or it's obvious, maybe it's not. So just let me know if I'm saying something like, oh, that's easy, that's obvious, everybody knows that. If it's not true, let me know. Because it might not be. It just might be my bias showing. So I just refactored this back because I didn't want the clean screenshot function, because I'm only using it once. I don't want the extra function call. No reason. It's just aesthetics, preference. I don't expect to ever use this code in 2 different places, so I don't care. And then if I do, maybe I will. I'll change it back. It's like sketching or drawing. You delete a lot of stuff. You erase. You redraw. It's fine. Debugging a school. There's a bug F. Yeah, I remember when I was in my senior year, we were like debugging stuff or writing programs, and basically the TA would be there helping us, right? And we're all like up at midnight the night before it's due, right? Like, this thing's not working, whatever. And the TA would be there, and he would kind of walk us through and like say, well, have you looked at this? And have you looked at this? Or maybe put a print statement here and see what that's showing you. So it was kind of like learning debugging through practice, but it wasn't like a formal thing, which I think is a shame. I do think learning good debugging skills is just as important as writing the code in the first place. If you watch John a lot, you will see he goes through a loop of implementation, test, debug, implement, rinse, repeat. So it's part of the process, sort of. Yeah, that's my process. And my process, too, is like, I say this a lot, but you make it work, okay? Then you make it fast, or then you make it pretty, right? Make it work, then make it pretty. And then if you need to, but only if you need to, and for games, need to means you're hitting your frame rate target or not. If you're not hitting your frame rate target, you need to optimize it. If you are hitting your frame rate target, then it doesn't matter. If you optimize it, no one's going to ever know. It doesn't matter. So make it work, which means write whatever code makes it work. It doesn't matter what the code looks like. It doesn't matter what the variable names are called. It doesn't matter. Just make it work. Get the concept done so you can see it on the screen, play with it, see if you even like it or not. And then if you decide you like it and you want to keep that feature, then make it pretty. And that's the refactoring step. You're going to name your variables a little bit nicer. You're going to organize the function calls a little bit better. You're going to just generally make it more readable and understandable so that when you come back to it a week from now and you've forgotten how it all works, that you're not cursing your name. Which is tough. I mean, even if you write code really well, I think I write pretty good code. And I still come back to old code and I'm like, I don't know how this works. It's a regular occurrence on this stream that you'll see me like, all right, let's get into this. First step, figure out what I was thinking. And then once I figure out what I was thinking, so like here, I didn't even remember that I had a screenshot function. But now I know. Now I remember. And then, so you make it pretty. You reorganize, you clean it up, you change the variable names so that they make sense. You organize your code in a way. That's the refactoring step to make it look pretty. And then you test it for performance. And if it doesn't need any performance enhancements, you're done. If it's too slow, then you optimize, which might require some more refactoring. It might require some debugging to figure out where the bottleneck is. And then you speed up that section. But yeah, for me, programming is a very iterative thing. I have an idea. I try and write all the code for that idea. And then I run the idea, fix the bugs in it. There are usually some obvious bugs where it's like, that variable doesn't exist, this thing doesn't work, whatever. Fix all those, get it working. And then a lot of the times I get it working and I'm like, I don't like it. And just delete it all again. It's gone. Start on some other idea. Anyway, back to screenshot. So this hides, and then it calls deferred screenshot. And then I have a feeling these are being called in a strange order. So what happens here is I'm calling deferred, which says, for this game object, wait until the end of the frame, and then call this game object's screenshot function. And then here it's saying, wait until the end of the frame, that's call deferred, call show on this guy at the end of the frame. Okay? But I don't think I have a guarantee that these are called in the correct order. I don't know that they're called in this order, 1, 2. It might be this one gets called first, and then this one gets called. Anyway, call deferred doesn't work. And I guess one thing to remember here is like if you're calling hide in your code, and then you call another function like screenshot, the controls won't be hidden because the actual visual change doesn't happen until the end of the frame. So without call deferred, it definitely won't work. I think if I do that, it might work. So I'm hiding it and then waiting till the end of the frame and then calling screenshot. Let's see. I'm still not sure that those will be called in that order. Shift S, screenshot. See, they're not. It's still not called in the correct order. So even though it looks like it would call it in the correct order, it's not. Because this screenshot is happening before the controls are hidden, even though it's called hide first, then call deferred screenshot. So what yield does is yield takes a object and then waits for a signal from that object. And what happens is this is like a coroutine or whatever, right? In Unity or C# or whatever. I'll hide, and then yield means go away. So execution exits this function, goes back into the game loop, does other stuff. And then when this signal idle frame happens from getTree, then it comes back. Okay? So I can just call game.screenshot, right? I can call show, because call deferred didn't work, so I'm just removing that. So now I'm going to say hide, wait a frame, take the screenshot, then show the controls again. But I tested this earlier, and this didn't work either. Right, let's see if the toolbar is still here after the screenshot. It still is, right? Which tells me it takes more than one frame for it to hide this stuff. Let's put in 2. Screenshot. There it is. It takes 2 frames, which is why call deferred wasn't working. It takes 2 frames. Why does it take 2 frames? I don't know. Is it a bug? I don't know. The thing about it is it doesn't matter if it's a bug or if it should or shouldn't take 2 frames. I should hide the mouse as well. Because there's nothing I can do about it right now, and I need to ship my game now. So I'm just going to work around it by waiting 2 frames. That's it. I'm just going to wait a couple of frames. Maybe I'll wait 3 frames just to be sure. Screenshot. Let's make sure screenshot's not doing something funky. It just gets the image data, right? And then it saves it. There's no yields. There's nothing funky or hinky going on in here. It just takes a couple frames for this to hide before you can do the screenshot. Idle frame signal fires when all the process code is processed, not after finishing a frame. Interesting. But all the process code should process each frame, though. Right? Like all the process scripts for everything in the game should run each frame, each render frame. And then it runs. So yeah, maybe it's not technically the end of the frame, but it's after everything's done, which you would think would include this. Why this takes 2 frames, I don't understand. But again, it doesn't matter. This works. This works. So this is what I'm going to do. So now I can do my screenshot. So let's redraw that thing again. I want it kind of like something like this. No, I think I want it kind of like this. I want to kind of make an arrow shape, I think. Kind of like, these are like, I don't know, like streaks. Kind of flying across the view a little bit. I don't know. Let's take all you, move you over here a little bit. And then, oh, that's kind of interesting. Let's do this screenshot, and then let's do this one as well. And then we'll take those. Beautiful. I want to get rid of those sparkles. Let's get rid of those sparkles. How do I get rid of the sparkles? What the heck are the sparkles? Where do those fireflies come from? Let's track it down. I think I instantiate them here in main somewhere. Well, distance, timer, timeout, asteroid. Dust particles. Dust particles. Dust particles are a dust instance. Dust is a foreground dust. Foreground dust is in a group. Is it? Is it in a group? FG dust. All right. Here's what we do. We can say group is in group, get groups. Let's see, get tree group. Isn't there a way? There's a way to call a function on everything in a group. Add group, is in group, get groups, group name, group, call. I want to say it's like call group, set group, call group. Scene tree, it's in scene tree, call group, group and method. Call group calls a method on each member of the given group, and it's part of the scene tree. So get tree, call group, FG dust, hide, and then what? Oh, that's supposed to be a string. I don't like the way that these are strings, but like I would prefer it if it was like that, something like that. I think they're changing that in the next version, but I'm not sure. And then this will be show. All right, so for all the foreground dust, hide it, take the screenshot, and then show it again later. Let's see. Screenshot. Screenshot. See if we got our sparklies. Yeah, they're gone. Perfecto. All right, now we can bring these into our editor. So here I'm going to open up. Let me find that folder. I have no idea where that folder is. Copy. Can I not paste this in? Home, local. How do I... Can I type .local? There we go. Share. Godot app user data. Oh, screw this. Let's move these. Here. open. Downloads. All right. This is a 1920 by 1080, and this is a 640 by 360. So the first thing I need to do is resize 640 by 360, right? Yep. And then the second thing I want to do is, I should hide the cursor. Is use the old magic wand and delete all that. I need transparency. How do I get... Why is this... Why did it turn red? Sprite, color mode, RGB indexed. Sprite, color mode, more options. Delete? Why isn't it deleting it? Why isn't it making it transparent? Let's duplicate. There's something about this underline that makes it special, I think. There we go. All right, so then this becomes copy. Let's put it here. Save. Go back into the game. Season 1. Oops. Run it. How does it look? Yeah, that's kind of actually cool. I like that. So that gives me the idea that I can start adding some of these rocks and stuff in the background. It's like you're looking out the window and you're overlaying this display on top of it. Let's take this other one. And this one. Duplicate, delete, magic wand, delete. Erase you. Let's keep that size and just paste it here. And then move it to where it looks interesting. Maybe something like that. Yeah. And let's do it again. Put another piece of it down here somewhere. All right, let's save that. Maybe. I don't mind that. I wonder if I should make this procedural, or not, maybe not procedural, but I can make it a moving texture. So I can make it a like this. I could use this, right? And kind of maybe do well. Let's see if I did. It's just so big. If I did something like this, let's try on grid mode. No, tiled mode, x-axis, right? Something like that. Rotate, I say. Okay, so I could do something like that maybe. And then I could have this thing be a, like a, maybe I have to change it to a sprite, scale, clip, hint. Because with the sprite, you can do like an offset rectangle. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, the mouse, I know. This is good enough for now. Call group, yep. Getting a 1984 Commodore 64 flashback. Yeah, you should be. That's exactly the right feeling. Transparent window gloss. That's an idea. Yeah, maybe. Small critic. The flashing message indicates that it is a very important warning information and not the standard mission. It makes me want to ignore the flashing messages from the game. In the future, perhaps just leave the mission information static. Yeah, maybe. Like a lens flare or something. Yeah. I mean, there's lots of different ways to do this. You're talking about this, right? The thing is, people don't read. No matter what I do, there are going to be some people who find it annoying and some people who don't. And there are going to be some people who read it and some people who don't. No matter what I do. And this information is important because it's the only way to progress from one sector to the next. You have to actually get these reactor cores, right? I have 2 of 6. I need 6 of them to go to this one. I can play these levels, and I can, after I unlock this one, right, I can go to level 3, and, you know, this one's unlocked because I played level 1, and I can unlock this one and go to level 3, even if I didn't win it. And then I can come back and try and win it again later. But these won't unlock until all of these are complete. And it's not clear without this information. But no matter what I do to this, honestly, no matter what I do, and believe me, I've tried a lot of different things. I've play tested a lot of different ways. No matter how I change it, some group complains and another group doesn't complain. And if I change it, then the groups change. But it's still, some people complain and some people don't. It's a tough problem. And I could be very heavy-handed and put up a dialogue, right? And just cover the whole screen and say, look, here's how you play this thing. And it's not going to matter. That is worse because people click through it and say, I don't want to see that. And they'll just click through it and not read it. There's like literally no way to force people to understand. So it's blinking. I understand the critique, though. I do. And I appreciate it. It's just I don't know if there's a good solution. I've tried a lot of different ones. All right, so if I had some kind of offset, let's see. Is that in... This is a sprite. Region is what I want. But I wonder, I mean, can you wrap? There's a node for this, isn't there? Like a... This. So I could put this in a layer. Let's see. Does this actually just work? I've never used one of these before. But if I put that there, why is this yellow? Only works when set as a child of a parallax background. Okay. Let's do that. So this is a kind of canvas layer. Parallax layer. Background, right? And I want this motion. This isn't going to move automatically though, is it? I need to change this scroll. -1, which means I need to put my stars at like -2. No, I would need to put my stars here. Yeah. I've got bugs now. It's fine. But if I do this, that's doing nothing. Does this only work with a camera, maybe? Perhaps a mission tracker after every level telling them how many more they need. Maybe. Yeah. That could work too. I've found that like if you want people to know the information that you want to give them, you have to tell them more than once. And you have to tell them in many places. And hopefully they'll just notice it at some point. And yeah. So putting this, I think this actually is on the game over screen. I'm not sure. I mean, there's a reward when you get the reactor. The reactor core was stolen, check. Next mission unlocked, check, right? So they'll see if they finished the level but they didn't get the reactor, it'll have a check here. Next mission unlocked, check. Reactor core stolen, X, right? It kind of just reinforces they didn't get the thing that they needed. And then when they go back to here, they're going to see, well, look, I didn't get a rank either. And this one's still blue, but this one's green. This one's got the green check mark, and this one doesn't. And then there's this, the same information here. And then there's this. I think the captain tells you when you start the mission, there's like a scroll. When you start the campaign, it says, hey, we've got to steal those reactor cores. They're super important. Get all those reactor cores. And then in the mission itself, the very first mission is all about capturing the reactor core and flying away with it. And the captain tells you then, too, we've got to get these reactor cores. And your gun doesn't work. So there's like, you can't accidentally shoot it. And still, some people play the game and go, I don't get it. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. No, it's good that you're reminding me about all this stuff, right? It's good feedback, and I do appreciate it. I do like looking back at all the choices I've made, because sometimes I've made a choice, and I'm looking at it, and it may not make sense anymore, you know, because the game has evolved so much that maybe that choice isn't needed anymore. So I do like to re-examine these things as I go. So I appreciate the help, honestly. Because, you know, as you're working on these games, and I've been working on this game for a long time, you kind of become blinded to certain things, you know? There are things in it that I don't notice anymore, that other people notice, like yourself. So it's great to get fresh eyes on things and just bring up things that maybe I don't need that anymore. Maybe there's a better way now. Maybe something else changed in the game so that message doesn't make sense anymore. Or maybe it needs to be moved or something. Maybe there's a better place for it. Yeah, it's just tough, you know. Getting someone to understand your game is a big challenge, and I think that's one of the reasons why People stick to a genre that people are familiar with, right? It's probably one of the biggest reasons. Lots of people make platformers because you don't need to train anybody how to play one. Everybody knows already. They're easy. People see it, they get right into it, they know that they can double jump, and it's done. You try to introduce something new, and you have to do all this training and explaining, and it's hard. Just trying to think, like if I had, let's move this back out. Let's just play with it. Let's do this. So I have this background, and why has it disappeared? Why has it disappeared? I don't know. Okay. So I've got this background, and if it just moved across the back like that, right, and then it would like loop. There would be another one like right here, right? So they're both moving. See this prototyping I'm doing? They're just moving across. That could be cool. It's like you're going someplace. I like that. And it's like you're getting there. You're moving to this place. They're not static. And it would just repeat, repeat, repeat. Okay. Let's try that. Let's do that. So I'm going to change this to a sprite. Sprite 2D, because that has the region stuff that I want to do. Right, I'll put it right in the center. Do I have my pixel snap on? Transform should be 320 by 180. All right, right in the center. And then I can say region enabled, right? 640 by 360, 640 by 360, oh, 0, 0, right? And then as I change this, does it move? It does. It's not flipping around because this background is not repeat, I'll bet. Repeat enabled, re-import, repeat enabled, re-import. So now as I change this number, it just scrolls back around. Right? So I can just animate this. Or just increment it, actually. And that is, what is that property called? Region rect. So in the chooser, I can say, in here, in physics process, I can say region. No, I could say bg dot region rect dot x maybe that'll work. Nope. What is region rect? I'm hoping it's a rectangle. Sprite region rect is a rect2. Rect2 has a position.x. Okay. Position.x. So this is where static typing would have been handy because it doesn't know what BG is, it doesn't know what region rect is, right? Or does it? No, it does. It's just me typing the wrong thing. All right. So it's like I get the benefits of static typing without the static typing. All right, sorry. Oops. Let's run this again. See if it moves. It moves. It's going too fast, but it's doing something. I like that. Let's make it much, much slower. 5 pixels per second instead of 5 pixels per physics frame. And then this will start wrapping around over here. Yep. And then I just need to fill out this background with some cool stuff. It's starting to look like the Netflix screensaver right now. Or I have a Roku, and the Roku has a screensaver where it's just a couple of parallax layers that go across the TV. One of them's a fish tank. I think I have it on the Space Alien one right now. And it shows scenes from sci-fi movies kind of scrolling by. Yeah, I like that. All right, so I have this code, and I have the background here as well. And this should just work on the ice scene. It's going to scroll this X, though. And it didn't. Because this should be a Sprite 2D. Yeah. And that should be at 360 by 180. Although, I suppose I could change it to be not center. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. That's what I'm going to do. And then it needs a region as well. Enabled 640 by 360. All right. Now it should work. Who just followed me? Sick. SYK. Thank you for following me. Appreciate it. Hybrid Lizard. Thank you for following me. Appreciate it, you guys. Thanks for the follows. So, oh, Neo. I'm going to call you Neo. Neo, thanks for the follow, buddy. Appreciate it. All right, so I've got this working. It's clipping out right there. Why is it clipping out right there? Because I moved it. Did I move it? 640. That should be 320. There we go. Basic math. Or maths. 640 divided by 2 is 320. Here we go. So now I just need to draw something fun back there, right? Like I did for this guy. And I need to maybe change up this art a little bit. I can make it longer. I can make it like wider, right? And then have that region be wider so that there's more variety as it scrolls past. But this works. This lets you know I'm going to the red place. I'm making progress towards it. Our ship is moving through space. We're going to this red place. We're going to level the bond of fuel. It looks like this. Look at that scary place. Maybe it's this one. Maybe we're going there. Maybe we're going to this one. I don't know. Let's see. What's it look like? Yeah, it's definitely one of these red rocks. We went there. Look at that green check mark. 3 of 6. Let gravity carry you home. LT says gravity always pulls you down. What a clever level my friend Peter made. This one's designed to teach you that there's gravity. And because I guess the perspective is a little confusing to people. I think with a space game, people kind of expect it to be top down. But this is a side view, kind of a platformer view. And when it's top down, you're not expecting there to be gravity. But in a side view, there is gravity, or there can be. And so that kind of just teaches you there's gravity, and it lets people adjust, you know, their perspective. It's the third level. They've already, you know, we've been trying to teach this for 2 levels already, but this one really brings it home, I think. Where they're like, yep, this is definitely a side view. We're going down. And then, where do we go? Level 4. This is where we get our gun. I turned off the dialogue. But otherwise the captain would have said, yep, your gun's available. Shoot stuff. And the first thing you have to shoot is that button. Why are these guys bouncing? Why are they so bouncy? I must have changed their physics. Person. I must have changed their physics material. Bounce. They bounce now. The bounce should decrease over time. Oh, you know what though? I bet I made the walls bouncy as well. I did. Because I have reflective walls now. I have reflective walls in the game now. Hey, Stress Test. Thanks for the follow, buddy. I have reflective walls in the game now. And to make the reflective walls work properly, they have 100% bounce. This bounce is at 1. Full bounciness. And because my guys have a 0.3 bounciness, they also bounce. But what if I make them absorbent? So they don't bounce so much? There they go. They settle down now. Because they're absorbing that bounce. They bounce a little. Let's see. Let's see if that works from the jump here. If I reload the game. Actually, let's turn on the dialogue. Just so I can show you guys how this looks. Weapon systems activated. Fire at will, pilot. Right, some instructions. Deactivate that laser. Here we go. Alright, I like this gun. Stay sharp. Nice shot. Here's another button. Alright, and they're not bouncing, right? Because they've been bouncing this whole time and they've settled down. I like how cheerful the astronauts usually are. Whoa, 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 whoa. Oh! Throw that in there. Get over there. All right. Let's just unlock the sector. This one teaches you about fuel. You can dock with enemy fuel stations to steal their fuel. All the coins are on the docking ring. Get the gasoline. Tells you to blow it up, right? Everybody's happy. Now we just gotta get out of here in one piece. The laser's off. Go back to the sector map. And look at that. Sector 2 is unlocked. Sector 1 is green. Yeah, I'm liking the way this looks. The bounce was funny, though, right? It does look like they're really, really excited. I do kind of like it. Let's tone it down a little bit. The only problem is... Let's turn that off. The only problem is they could bounce themselves into trouble, right? Let's go to... What level was that? It was here. So, oops. Let's go ahead and start the level. And then let's drag the player over here. Right? So there they are, bouncing away. So see how they're moving, though? Left, right, right? It's possible that maybe you put an astronaut here. Right? Normally, he would stick and stay there. But now, because he's bouncing, by the time you get to him, right, he's going to do some stuff. And maybe you don't want that to happen. You have to kind of be more careful in your placement of these guys. You have to put him there where he can't bounce away. I do kind of like it, though. Let's leave it. Let's leave it. It's a happy accident, right? As Bob Ross would say. All right. Hey, folks, I gotta go. We're going to a pumpkin patch. So I'm gonna hit the road. I'll be back again Tuesday at the latest. I might come back later again today. I don't know. But thanks for dropping in, everybody. Have a great weekend. And thanks for all the follows. And I'll see you again next time. If you guys haven't seen the game, it's gravityace.com. Go and click on all the things. If you want to talk more, join the Discord. Send me a message and we can talk. I can answer any questions you got. The game's in early access right now. Please tell all your friends. And thanks for dropping by, everybody. I'll see you next time.